How you feeling? Sneaky? Kinky? A little bit freaky? I'm just kidding. What in the Schnitzels going on here? How y'all doing today? Y'all doing good? I'm doing good. You looking great? I'm looking wonderful. As you can see, they're a little bit rearranging to the background, but plus, please, best believe it's going to be more. Sorry for the late upload. Today was a busy day. It's a wonderful Wednesday. It was a very busy day. We just had to deal with a couple things. So yes, we're getting a PM session. It says specialist that underscore bag underscore 7715 says, am I the a-hole for selling my parents' house after they left my unemployed sibling live there rent-free for 10 years? Quick question, baby. Are you still with us? Because, like, don't get me wrong. I don't know how you sold your parents' unemployed, like your parents' house, unless you were paying all the bills on it. But if you weren't and you still sold this house, nice knowing you. I'm a 34-year-old man. Okay, so he's been living in your house since you were 24. Got it. And my brother is 31, so since he's 21. That's great. Growing up, our parents always encouraged us to follow our passions. I took a more conventional path. I moved out after high school, went to college, worked part-time while taking classes, graduated with student debt, and eventually found a stable career. My brother had different plans. He wanted to become a professional wrestler. Our parents supported him financially while he tried to make that happen. Over the years, he's worked a handful of short-term jobs, but never held one for very long, and spent most of his time pursuing various wrestling-related opportunities that never really went anywhere. This caused a lot of tension between us. I felt like our parents were enabling him while I was expected to support myself. The final straw came during a family dinner several years ago when I asked him what his long-term plan was and whether he was considering getting a more stable job. He took offense, an argument followed, and after that our relationship basically ended. I stayed in contact with our parents but rarely spoke to him. A few years, my parents updated their estate plans. They told me they wanted me to inherit the house because they trusted me to manage it responsibly. However, they also asked that I allow my brother to continue living there since he had been living at home for years and nowhere else to go. I agreed to this. Both my parents passed away within last year. When I took over ownership of the house, I learned that there was still approximately $1,500 remaining of home equity loan that they had taken out to cover medical expenses and repairs. Lord, this is getting bad. This is getting bad so fast. Oh, Lord. I had not known about this beforehand. I sat down with my brother and explained that I couldn't simply let him live there completely free. I told him that if he wanted to stay in the house, he would need to contribute enough each month to cover the loan payment. I would continue paying the property taxes, insurance, and utilities myself, because I knew he wasn't in a position to handle all the expenses. He refused. His position is that our parents never charged him rent, and I shouldn't either. Over the past several months, he has not contributed anything toward the house despite continuing to live there full time. At this point, I started the legal process to remove him from the property and sell the house. The proceeds will allow me to pay off the loan and avoid continuing to subsidize his living situation indefinitely. Some relatives think I'm being heartless because my brother has lived there for so long and doesn't have any other options. Other things, I've already done more than enough. You should have been kicked him out. I'm sorry. I have zero empathy for this grown man that child. In all honesty, your parents played you. They knew that they were in debt, and then they thought, oh, let's put it on this one that we haven't helped with anything, so that way he could feel indebted to us as a nice last hurrah and F you. Sell the house. And if it wasn't legal, sell your brother. It wasn't illegal. I'm kidding. But, like, my God, like, you hear that? That's exactly what's going on in my brain. Because what the heck? Overall, _midnight says, not the a-hole. Those relatives that think you're heartless for not completely financially supporting another adult, they can help him out. That was really unfair of your parents to expect you to not only financially support your brother, but shoulder the financial burden you were unaware of and should have been told of the house. It's too bad they crippled him from being a competent adult. That $150,000 still owed on the house. That sounds like it in a very real way came from them supporting him. He not only expects you to support him currently, but basically pay back a bunch of debt that likely only exists because of him. Had he contributed to the household, it's likely your parents would have had not only their own money to spend on their own needs, medicals, housing, repairs, etc., but wouldn't have to be shelling it out for him. I do wonder where the competency level of your brother, frankly, if he's now in his 30s and thinks that being a professional wrestler is actually going to pan out, and what grasp of reality he has if he thinks that you should somehow just pay for everything for him in life. It's incredibly out of touch on every level. When you do get him out of there, it is likely that he struggles for maybe even several years before he could take care of himself. If you step in and save his behind, he will never learn how to save his own behind. I hope if anyone, especially relatives, decide they are going to let him live in their house, that they set expectations for him they follow through with, or he's going to be nothing but a leech who ends up absolutely effed when the next person he sucks dry runs out of money, patience, or time. Not only are you not the a-hole here, I think in the long term you're doing your brother-in-law a favor that your parents failed to do. He has to grow up. Everything here is valid. Like, everyone's saying the same thing. At first, I was like, okay, you selling your parents' home. I thought you sold it while they're still in there. But since they have passed away, the estate is yours to do what you please. I personally am not a big fan of owing anyone money, especially the government that owns trillions of dollars. But my personal opinion, you should have been sold it. I would have sold that sucker as soon as the papers, the ink ain't even dry fast enough on the estate before I would have to sign it to someone else and kick him out. It would have been a jolly day, because I'm not even going to give them a chance to explain or sit here and say that, oh no, I'm gonna pay you and don't pay me. Like, what are we doing? Like, I wouldn't even give him a chance. You are nicer than me. I wouldn't even give him a doggone thing other than that's it. What are we giving him a chance for? What are we doing that for? Why? What? Why? Why? I don't know. I'll say you're not the a-hole, in my opinion. Because at the end of the day, I would have done the same thing. Anyway, love, peace, and hair grease, y'all. Bye, my schnitzels.